coming up. Meantime, Tea Party activists portray themselves as a grassroots movement, but a new article says that it's largely bankrolled by two billionaire brothers, David and Charles Koch, brothers in their 70s who own some familiar businesses like Brawny, Dixie Cups, and Steam Master Carpet, just to name a few. Jane Meyer wrote the article about the Koch brothers recently for the New Yorker magazine, and she's joining us right now from Washington. Good to see you.
Thanks so much. Great to be with you.
Okay, so I'm wondering, as you wrote about this article, you didn't get a chance to speak with the Koch brothers, but instead you reached out to a lot of people who were friends of theirs, business associates, people who were particularly pretty big fans of the Kochs, right?
Well, certainly some were fans and some were critics. It was a shame, really, that the Koch brothers, who are known for being kind of stealthy and secretive, didn't take the opportunity to talk to the New Yorker. We asked for several months to be able to talk to them, but they actually don't like to give interviews about their political activities much. So I spoke with some of their old friends and people who've worked with them over the years. And really, I mean, I think what we were trying to do was to explain that there's this fascinating back history that many people don't know to the Tea Party movement.
Meaning, while these two brothers have not necessarily said publicly that they are big backers of the Tea Party, they do finance a group that helps train, right? Helps prepare people for these Tea Party movement gatherings, correct?
Yeah, actually, David Koch, the two brothers, there's Charles Koch, who lives in Wichita, Kansas, and David Koch, who lives in New York City. And between the two of them, they're worth, I guess, something like $35 billion, which means if you put their fortunes together, they're the third largest fortune in America, really. And basically what David Koch has said is that he has nothing to do with the Tea Party. He's never been asked to fund it, and he's never gone to a Tea Party rally. But what he doesn't say, and what I was writing about, was that he actually founded an organization called Americans for Prosperity. And Americans for Prosperity itself has been one of the two central sort of professional political operations organizing the Tea Party. So what Americans for Prosperity does is it plans the rallies, it gets the speakers, it buses the protesters to the rallies. At some point they were making the placards for the protesters, and it basically provides next day training also after the rally. So it takes the ordinary American citizens who feel so angry at the government, maybe, or just generally, put out by the economy for obvious reasons. It's been an awful economy. Takes that anger, it channels it in a certain political direction, and organizes them towards these kind of Tea Party, this agenda. And basically, what the Kochs have done, and they've been working at this for many, many years, but even before the Tea Party movement, is they've tried to turn Americans against the federal government because they themselves...
But you write specifically they're really at the epicenter of an anti-Obama administration movement, not just government, but you write specifically that even friends are quoted as saying that these brothers, are very anti-Obama, and that's what is helping to fuel this movement.
Well, certainly, they've funded a lot of stealth attacks on Obama from many, many directions, so many that people in the political world talk about the Koch's organization as something called the Kochtopus, because it's got tentacles in so many directions. I mean, they have funded protests against Obama's stimulus, against the bailouts, against the health care policy, against the energy policies. They've basically, if you turn over a rock at you can find Koch money that's pushing against the Obama administration. And it's, so anyway.
Okay, well, Jane, I just want to pull a quote. You write and kind of describe what they are all about, and you say that, they're longtime libertarians who believe, quote, in drastically lower personal and corporate taxes, minimal social services for the needy, and much less oversight of industry, especially environmental regulation. These views dovetail with the brothers' corporate interests. Is this consistent, you believe, based on people you've talked to who are for or against the Koch brothers and what they're setting out to do? Is this consistent with the Tea Party movement, the mantra, the message that is being sent?
Well, I mean, I think the Tea Party movement is a very amorphous thing. It represents, more and more it seems to be kind of aligned with the far right of the Republican Party, but I think it represents all kinds of people who feel frustration right now. And so what I've tried to do in this story is fill in the blanks and connect the dots, that show that these two incredibly powerful, wealthy industrialists actually have been pouring money into trying to channel the anger in America into an agenda that's good for their company, among other things. So you do see sort of the Tea Party protesting things like environmental regulations, which seems kind of strange in some ways, but basically the Americans for Prosperity has come out swinging against things like cap and trade policies, against the Environmental Protection Administration in every direction, which is what the Kochs are interested in because they've got a history of polluting in a very big way. And a recent study by the University of Massachusetts describes them as one of the top 10 air polluters. So
I wonder, Jane, have you heard from the Koch brothers in any way as a result of your article, which is in some ways complimentary? It talks about their reach, and in other ways very scathing and critical.
You know, not personally, and I'm sorry about that. People tell me David Koch's a very charming man, and I'm sure Charles Koch's a very smart man. I would have loved to have talked to them, but unfortunately, they sort of like to operate behind the curtains.
Okay. Well, Jane Mayer of The New Yorker, fascinating article. And we did actually pull a quote. This was a response from the Koch Industries, a response to your reporting. And it says, quote, we provided The New Yorker with a tremendous amount of information in hopes it would enable the publication to produce a balanced and accurate portrayal of our company. Unfortunately, that information was largely omitted or ignored, resulting in inaccuracies and misstatements. Koch Industries, this is the company being led by the two brothers, David and Charles. Koch Industries goes on to say that the New Yorker article, quote, accuses the Kochs of being covert in their support of free markets. Koch Industries' website, along with many other publicly available documents, clearly state the philosophies and institutions we support, unquote. Any surprises there before I let you go?
You know, yeah, it's just they're so covert that they wouldn't answer a single question from the New Yorker, and the information they provided is actually just stuff on their website. So anyway, they're fascinating characters. They're huge players in American politics. The organization they found is pouring $45 million into the midterm elections to push their political views, and it would be great if they'd speak up more.
Jane Mayer, thanks so much to The New Yorker. Appreciate your time.
Good to be with you.